The Secrets of TV is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit GiveStarQuest.com. You're listening to The Secrets of Television. Hi, I'm Dom Bettinelli, and at The Secrets of Television, we take a closer look at the stories behind the stories, exploring the themes, characters, and hidden meanings in all the shows everyone's watching and the classics worth remembering. And this time we're discussing Silo Season 3, Episode 2, It's All Good. Joining me today is Jeff Haecker. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Dom.
And Alix Murray. Hey, Alex.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good. Folks, be sure to follow The Secrets of TV on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, in your favorite podcast app, or at the StarQuest YouTube channel, youtube.com/StarQuestMedia, where you should always like, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell because YouTube makes you. So, let me give you a recap of what happens in It's All Good. So Juliet meets with Patrick Kennedy and the rebels, confirming that someone has been suppressing her memories. So she secretly stops taking her memory suppressing pills, hoping her memories return. A nurse quickly discovers the missing pills, putting Juliet in danger. The algorithm speaks with Camille while watching Juliet through hidden cameras, and the algorithm reveals 6 silos, including their own, have undergone full resets over the past 352 years. The algorithm plans to add a vitamin compound to the water supply. Ooh, they're going to get healthy. Maybe it's a multivitamin or vitamin D. The episode ends on 2 drums labeled vitamin D being hauled up the silo steps. Meanwhile, in the before times, Daniel Keene, congressman, learns his sister Charlotte, naval aviator, underwent experimental memory suppression. She doesn't just have a simple brain injury. The doctor explains that some memories can be selectively removed and restored, which ties the technology to Juliet's present. Daniel confronts Helen, the reporter, who reveals that not every flight to Iran carried nukes, including the ones that Charlotte was, or the flight that Charlotte was on, and her mission to Turkmenistan was carrying bunker busters instead for some reason. The end. So, Alex, what'd you think of this one?
I thought this one was a little slow going at the beginning. I felt that it was, I watched it more than once, and I found myself kind of wanting to know what was going to happen next, but not in a like, oh my gosh, this is super exciting. What's going to happen next? But more like, can we get through this so we can find out what's going to happen next?
Right. There were a couple of heavy exposition moments in this one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I understand that the pace, I actually appreciate the pace of the show, because I think the pace of the show matches the pace of the silo. And because you don't want things to be really, you want people to take a long time doing things. This is why there are no lifts or elevators in the silo. It takes a long time to get from point A to point B. And there are no straight lines. There's no direct way to get from point A to point B. So I appreciate how the show is laid out actually is like the silo itself. But I kind of wanted to get down to mechanics. That's what
get down to mechanical and find out what's going on down there.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So I'm feeling a little bit impatient about that, but that's okay. And also one of the things I wrote about this was the level of cynicism in, as you call it, the before time Washington is really gross. Like, I just don't like, I guess no disrespect, but I find that level of cynicism very unpleasant.
Political cynicism. Yeah. We'll dig into that, because I want to dig into that a little more.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think that has implications.
Yeah, well, absolutely. It's called the silo.
Yeah. Exactly. Jeff, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, I thought this was another good one. Like you said, Alex, it is a little bit slower. And I think part of that is I think these seasons, like I'm not mad that they're 10 episodes, but I think 2, they could probably be 8 episodes at times. Like so I think they're having to kind of a little bit, I don't consider it filler or padding, but I mean, a little bit of padding to get to that 10 episode mark. And they've got to develop that mystery over a little bit longer than they maybe would have otherwise if they had 8 episodes. But I think it's a good kind of continuation of the mystery of what's going on. I think and along with the memory connections, there was another connection I noticed just within the show between the before times and the Silo times, which we can get into in a little bit, having to do with the doctor and that Charlotte's seeing. You met it. Yeah, you might know what it is. What I'm going to say too there.
Maybe,
but yeah, but I think it's doing a good job of keeping me interested. And like, even though I've read the book, they're expanding things that weren't in the book necessarily. So like, from what I remember, the whole Charlotte plot line is not something from the book. It's really the kind of the before time focuses on the congressman more than any siblings that I mean, she could be in it. I just don't remember. But so I like that introduction there too. So of this kind of additional plot line, it gives me something that I don't know what specifically will happen with that character, because it's something new to the story. So yeah, I think it's doing a good job of continuing the mystery of the Silo.
One thing I want to bring up from our last discussion, you mentioned that the books, the congressman, his name is Donald in the book, and he's Daniel here. Did you notice that Charlotte at the beginning calls him Donald?
Oh, really?
I noticed that.
Yeah. And I only noticed it because I had the captioning on, and you had brought it up last time.
Yeah.
And I in fact, I rewound it to like, wait a minute, and to double rewound. I'm old, but the tapes went wee, but like I'm in the Silo. But no, so I backed it up and to check, and she calls him Donald, and I don't know if they're trying to make it as that's part of her memory problem, like memory block, because it's intentional that we find out, but it's part of the memory issue, or an error in the script, or they're trying to, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I thought that was
it's funny that you say that, Dom, because I noticed that as well, mainly because my husband's called Donald. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the two options you have if you're Scottish. Donald or Duncan, that's it. Or Douglas. Sorry, you get Douglas.
Connor McLeod would like to object to that.
There you go. Yeah. But so I typically hear, if you heard your name, you'd like, or your wife's name.
Yeah.
And I thought, wait a minute, that's not his name. And in the credits, it's Daniel. It's not Donald.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't
Curious
think
what they're doing there.
Yeah. I would be surprised if it was like a script error, because they're very meticulous about this.
They are.
So I would imagine it's something else.
Something intentional.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it could be just a nod to the book, just like saying, she's got a memory issue. She doesn't even remember her brother's real name. And we're nodding at the book's name for him, even though we changed it because of politics. Because we don't want to have the association or something.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I'm certain that's why this Washington politician's name is not Donald.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Yeah.
That was something I noticed last season when they say it's Daniel, and I was like, wait a second, he was Donald in the books. And then I'm like, oh yeah, there's a reason for that.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I have to say, Donald's a great name.
Yes. It's why there are no nice German characters named Adolf. Like you just there are certain names in certain circumstances you just can't use, and Donald is off the table for a few years.
In the States. Here? No.
Yes.
No. Yeah, exactly.
For good or for ill, but that's where we are.
Exactly. There you go.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about the pacing, and I think part of the pacing thing that I was thinking about was I just want her to get her memory back, so we have the Juliet we remember, the Juliet who's kind of on fire, the Juliet who's kind of out there for truth and to do the thing, and she's on a mission. And we started to get that by the end of this episode, like when she goes off on her own. That's the Juliet I remember.
Yeah.
The Juliet at the beginning and in last episode is more passive and more unsure. And I think that's the pacing from my point of view. That's the pacing that I felt impatient with. I wanted her to be back because nowadays, again, as you mentioned, Jeff, we have 10 episodes and things need to happen. If you drag things out too long, then you either don't finish at the end of the season or they rush it or whatever. It's just, we don't have 26 episodes like we used to in the old days to figure things out.
I'm going to be honest. I kind of like the fact that we don't have 26 episodes. I like I like it to be like compact,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the pace here, and I think I agree with you, Dom. I really like the character of Jules.
Yeah.
And I want to see her back. And it's a little bit, not painful. That's way too dramatic. But when you see a character that you really like and they're not themselves, it's a little disruptive, I guess, in your ability to enjoy what's happening around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really shows the versatility of Rebecca Ferguson. She's a great actress.
She is. She really is.
Between this and Dune and Mission Impossible, like she's been so many different
The
characters.
Greatest Showman.
I haven't seen that one. That's one I need to watch.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's awesome.
So I want to jump back to Camille and the algorithm. And the algorithm's making some bombshell lore. Okay, we've closed the loop on something. It has been 352 years. That's been definitively stated, and that these silos, 6 silos, have undergone full resets. Out of I don't know how many, I don't know, including this one 140 years ago. And so it's become clear the reason why people don't remember is because they've had this memory suppressing drug applied during a reset. And there are implications. I have speculation on what's going on here, that the algorithms have been put in control to maintain the silos and have continued doing things whether on their own or beyond their original programming or something. It reminds me a little bit of the TV show Fallout. If either of you watch that, there's a kind of synchronicity in that. They have a similar situation.
Yeah. I've seen the first season Fallout. Yeah, I mean it is a similar kind of a premise of humanity's survival is, or like some of surviving humanity is locked away inside vaults or silos. But at least in Fallout, I think at least in most of the vaults, they don't have, they didn't wipe their memories or anything like that.
Right.
So
maybe they should have.
But there are external forces working, like external protocols that the people in the vault aren't aware of, that are maintaining and managing something for ulterior motives, shall we say, or motives that aren't made apparent to the people, most of the people involved. I think that's the interesting connection. So it is interesting that it's been 140 years, that it's a thing that happens, that's been recognized to happen, and that there are at least 6 vaults. Although we know that there's at least 18 because that's the numbers we have. But we don't know how many vaults are still in operation. That's another. Yeah,
they mentioned that there have been 6 vaults where they've had resets, but maybe the other vaults have not needed resets.
Right. Does that include 18? Is that considered a reset? The one that was dead that Juliet went to?
I don't think so, because that one, I don't think they did the memory suppression thing there. I think right. I think that silo is kind of written off essentially by.
It's a failed silo.
It's a failed, yeah. Like, because I can't remember if they basically made it where they couldn't pump in the gas to it or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think they
Solo's
would have,
parents
if they could,
did something to prevent the gas to be being pumped in.
Right. So I think as far as the algorithm knows, that silo is done and wiped out. And seemingly the algorithm doesn't know what happened between Juliet leaving the silo and Juliet coming back.
Right.
So the algorithms aren't connected from silo to silo.
The algorithm in that silo was dead. That room was off. The room where Camille meets with it. And
I think they basically
silo 18, that was empty.
Yeah, they basically shut everything down. They what is it? They destroyed the data center to prevent the algorithm from knowing what was going on. Because if they could, they would have pumped in the poison and killed that silo, but they didn't. So
right.
But I am curious to know if they know what happened to that silo, if the algorithm does. But so that's something to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if the algorithm is aware of other silos. Well, it has to be, because it said that there have been 6 that needed to be reset. So it has to have some kind of link to the other silos.
Yeah, but do they know that the algorithm is just off and they can't access it, or do they know like that there was a revolution and I don't think they know that anybody's over there, because if they did, I think they would, something might, I don't know. I think they would at least like be more pushing Juliet to do something.
Send the Terminator over and knock on the door. Oh, that's a different one. The algorithm, not the silo. The algorithm also says to Camille, like, there's occasionally rises up individuals who are outliers, people who cannot be controlled. They're, and it raises interesting questions about humanity and this idea of, are we mere machines or units of production that are managed by a machine, like an algorithm, or a machine like an economy, or a machine like an ideology, or are we something more, which is, from a Catholic point of view, a Catholic humanism, we are individuals. We are not controllable like widgets. You can't just put us in a box and say you are this. And there's something in the human spirit that always pushes through, or can push through, not always, but can push through. And that's kind of what it's saying here, is that Juliet is one of these outliers who the drugs don't take, the conditioning doesn't stick. There's something about her. I think we talked about this last time. There's something about her that makes her stand out and push back. Yeah.
Dom, I just remembered, I did write down, this is not an exact quote, so my apologies, but I think it was Dr. Victor, is it Chernovich?
Chernovich, I think he says, yeah.
When he says that, he says to Daniel, we're the sum of our memories.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, is that true? I mean, no, I would say, no, we're not. But within kind of the silo universe, the question is that true? And I wonder if that's one of the questions being asked by the show. Are we merely the sum of our memories and experiences?
I think, like all good science fiction, it asks, what does it mean to be human?
Yeah.
And I think I actually wrote down what he said in that conversation, because while it was kind of slow, I thought this was really important to the whole show. And I think Dr. Cernovich is going to be, or Sinkovich, whatever his name is going to be key to everything here. He says, what separates man from the apes is that we're storytellers. We take a set of data and weave a story around it. We're meaning makers. That was an interesting term. And those aren't untrue. It's not all that separates us, but those aren't untrue. We're a collection of stories we've told ourselves. That's where he starts to lose me. He says, information we've propped up with meaning to tell us who we are. And that's where he lost me. Like, no, we don't, we're not information that we've propped up with meaning. There's meaning there that we are gleaning from. So there's an objective meaning. There's objective truth.
Yeah.
And he's saying truth is relative in essence.
Yeah. Which it contradicts itself anyway. That way of thinking. And
all truth is relative.
Yes, exactly. You sure about that? Yeah. But also I think this whole, rather than having a subjective truth versus an understanding, I think you can have a subjective truth, but you have to understand its relationship to objective truth. Yes. And that is something that I think a lot of people don't get or acknowledge. And in this show, he definitely thinks that he's making this whole truth. It's all coming from the human psyche and the human experience. But it's the human experience inside a larger reality, which he's not. Which he's not. And then you've got people like Jules who I think keep contradicting that assumption. And
Mhm.
those are the ones who are the outliers, quote unquote.
Right. And he acknowledges that at one point where he says, in that same conversation, he does say there's something there between the axons and the neurons, something like a soul, and it won't be controlled by me or anyone else. So I think he's kind of acknowledging that there is something more than the material that he, like the materialist viewpoint he's initially espousing. And I'm thinking the AI is trying to do just that, control the soul, control for the soul, but it's a machine. Can it truly understand? Can it truly know what that means? And I think that's the machine's flaw.
I agree.
Will be exploited. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the relativeness of truth that the doctor espouses, it kind of comes out into his moral relativity as well. If what we're told by the reporter is true, that he's done human experiments on
prisoners,
unwilling or
military people.
Yeah, limited consent subjects of experimentation. And it's interesting how it's counterpointed. It's like, we experimented on prisoners and military recruits who had no choice. And the political aide says he on criminals who wanted to forget the horrific crimes they committed, and on soldiers who had traumatic war, post-traumatic stress, the traumatic war memories. And it raises an interesting question. The doctor says, like, you can reconstruct the memories without the traumatic memories. And it's like, but is that good? Should we, if we had the ability, should we want our memories, even bad ones, extracted and suppressed?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have memories of horrific trauma, so I'm not really, I'm not one to say, no one with a traumatic memory should ever have it suppressed. They should live it, whatever. that would be cruel. But it's an interesting question.
I have one of the things that to that end, some of my notes here, I was saying there's this, I think the doctor, he's associating he wants to eliminate suffering. And of course, this is a big challenge we have in our culture today, as if suffering is the worst thing you can experience, but it's the avoidance of one's own. I mean, I'm not saying that people, like, if you have a broken leg, you shouldn't go to hospital. I'm not saying that, but I mean, there's some there's a certain degree of suffering that you can't avoid, and you shouldn't avoid, because if you do, somebody else is going to be taking on that suffering for you. Right. Do you know what I mean? And so it's this, he is, when he's talking about trauma and pain and memory, I think he's talking about suffering that he doesn't want to, and he experienced suffering and pain because of whatever choices he made that cost the lives of his daughter and wife.
Yep.
And so rather than work through that and maybe be wounded for the rest of his life, he's like, I'm just going to get rid of that. And and now he's like, this is what I'm going to do for everybody else. But what kind of pain is he causing even to the people around him, like Daniel?
Right.
With his sister.
Even further, the people of the silos. Exactly. Because that seems to be the end result of what he's doing.
Yeah. All to avoid suffering.
It's interesting. I'm going to make another connection to another TV show. Severance is a similar thing. They have this idea of we sever memory so that part of you suffers through, whether it's the monotony of a boring job in a cubicle, or there was a couple of cases, there's at least one case where, like, women go through childbirth during severance, and so that they don't have to have the memory of the pain of childbirth when they come back from that. And it's like, that avoidance of suffering is, suffering is not good in the sense of, suffering is great, like a masochist sort of thing.
Yeah.
But suffering is not the worst possible thing. Yeah. Suffering can be a sacrifice, like mothers do for their children.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that brings up something to me of everyone around Juliet is suffering from her loss. Like all of her friends, Shirley and Knox, and
Shirley especially.
They're suffering from, like, Juliet can't suffer. I mean, she is, but she doesn't know. She kind of has, like, she's read her biography and says, oh, I worked in mechanical and I was friends with these people. But it's just kind of the detached, like, this is the information. She doesn't have any emotion attached to it right now because of the memory drugs and whatever else. But everyone around her is suffering from that lack of their friend and the person they know she is. And I think part of the show, this season is going to be her getting back to that, like, and kind of rebelling against this program of suppressing her memory. And she will eventually be there, but there's also going to kind of be, it's kind of like there's going to be that healing of there's going to be parts that can't fully be healed because there's this time where she was separated from her friends. And it's one of those things they'll have to kind of work together to move forward into whatever, relationship they have moving forward.
Right. It came out, like, why is Shirley acting so hostile to someone she so admired and was a friend? And then the boss down in mechanical, Knox, right. He says to Juliet, like, when you were in the hospital for 10 days or whatever it was, she didn't leave. She sat by your side the entire time. And now you look right through her, like, when you see her, like, or the first time you saw her. I can imagine how painful that would be. Like, I think of like even like your spouse. Imagine, like, if you didn't remember your spouse and you just, like, what you were injured and then they waited for you and you walk out and you looked right through them. They're a stranger to you. That would hurt.
Yeah.
It would be incredibly painful.
Yeah. And the fact that they've had a reset, there's no cultural understanding of that level of pain. So she doesn't even have the tools needed to kind of work that out herself. It's almost like she's in the middle of, there's nothing to hold on to. There are no examples, because, when stuff happens, God forbid, like a real tragedy or something. I mean, we can turn to literature or music or art or something, and there's some connection with, oh, this is not this alien feeling that I'm experiencing. But for her, it is, because there's no precedent for it.
Yeah. Is there art in music in the Silo? I mean,
they
really.
had some. I mean, there was like, people draw pictures and sell them in, like, the marketplace. Like, there was that was a thing, and like the kids go to school, and there's art and stuff in the school that's kind of created within the Silo.
There's no cultural art in music.
No, or
really.
Tradition. There's no cultural tradition, except I guess they do have, like, the holidays and they hang the banners up or whatever. And I guess the people who have the wool, who make the wool, but there's no real, it's almost like, oh gosh, what's it called? The not the Glorious Revolution, the one in China where they got rid of
Cultural Revolution.
Thank you. Yeah. The Golden Revolution happened over here. Anyway, but where they were getting rid of the culture before.
Yeah.
And
they're like a lot of, like, whether it's Soviet Union or Communist China. Yeah. They just have jettisoned everything pre-revolution.
Yeah.
Or the Reformation. There's no religion.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Reformation. I mean, that was all about eliminating what came before. At whatever cost. And then when people are dealing with something like suffering, the church has developed a quite, not complex, but rich theology around suffering. But then when you jettison all of that, the suffering doesn't go away. But how do I deal with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. How does this make sense?
Yep. In fact, they turn the people who go out to clean as punishment, they turn them into heroes somehow, like a sort of martyrs for the rest, because they clean a screen before dying.
It's weird.
It's not quite the crucifixion. Let's just put it that way. So one of the mysteries that they bring up is Orla Kent is missing. And Orla is the young woman who is the shadow down in Supply, I think it was. And she's missing. But we haven't, the last we saw of her was she was leaving Supply and telling her boyfriend, oh, the vitamin D needs to be delivered, or the vitamin supplement, or whatever they called it. needs to be delivered. And that's the last we saw of her there. So we don't know what happened to her, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I thought she might be the young woman who got injured, but that turns out to be the sheriff's wife.
Kat. Yeah. Is it Kat?
Yeah. Kat.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So that wasn't her. So that's an interesting thread that they've spun out. There's no real resolution there. Juliet goes to find Martha Walker, which I thought was and it was going to be an interesting encounter between them. And Martha, basically, she's a little mad at her. She's a little dismissive of Juliet's fame, which I think is appropriate. Like, I knew you before you were big and important. And she basically tells her to Juliet, you're not trying hard enough. You know, you're not the fighter you were. Yeah. You're not trusting your gut. You're just kind of going along to go along. You need to try harder to be the person you actually were.
Yeah. Yeah. She's kind of setting a little bit of a fire under Jules. Mm-hmm. And I really like Martha. Yeah. She reminds me of a lot of women in my life. Stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Yeah. Fuck up.
Yes. Man up. That's what I used to be told. Yeah. Just man up. Yeah.
I think she's kind of hoping, like, if she's at all the old Juliet, that this is the sort of thing that would have got in her craw.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, we're seeing Juliet is like the old Juliet is starting to come out when she's kind of playing along with what's with the show. Like when she's trying to, she's going out being escorted by the security or by the sheriff deputy or whatever. Uh-huh. But then she, then she kind of goes against that by saying like, oh, he touched me or whatever so she can run away and meet with the outsiders in secret. So
yeah, that part. So it's interesting. I watched it on my own, and then the second time around, my husband watched it with me. And at that point, he goes, "Oh, that was bad form." And I said, "Well, yeah, but that's Jules. Do you know what I mean?" Right. It was almost like it came up before she even knew what was happening. She just suddenly was herself again, and she would have done that, especially from someone higher up in the silo.
It's a very calculated move. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the sense of, yeah.
So, but it was instinctive at the same time.
Right. I guess that's what I really mean. Not calculated, but really it came out of Jules is very practical. Like, what tool can I pull out of the toolbox now? It's an instinctual. Boom. This is the tool I'm going to use. Yes. I don't mean anything really by it. It's not,
it's not personal.
This is what works here. She's very practical in that sense.
Yes. Yeah.
I liked Jerry's reaction though later on when they're back to, he's like, hey, look, I don't like what they're doing to you either. If you need to get away, let me know and I'll help you. Like, he's like, I'm on your side. And she's like, oh, okay, that's right. I'm not all alone here. I actually have someone on my side. Yeah. I really like that scene.
Yes. Yeah. Because do you know what? That could have gone justifiably another way from him. You know, but that's an insight into his character, I think.
Yeah. He says, I'm loyal to you, the mayor, and not to Camille, as scary as she is. which that was funny. Like, she's almost a little scarier than Judge Sims. Like, he's pretty scary.
Yeah.
She's almost a little scarier.
Yeah.
When the reporter, Helen, snuck in to see Charlotte, and they were off sitting alone, and Charlotte has the memories coming back moment where she kind of has a sort of a seizure almost. There was this old guy watching them from a distance from inside the building. Did you notice that?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, the scene cuts quickly, and he's just standing there looking at them from a distance. It's not Dr. Sinkovich. It's somebody else. And I was curious if either of you had seen him before. But I think he's a new character.
I didn't notice it at all. So, so probably a new character though, because we don't know that.
It went by fast.
Yeah, because we don't know that many people in the before timeline. We just know really Daniel, Charlie, and the reporter Helen, and now the doctor. Yeah. Like and then the senator and her daughter. Like, aside from that, we really don't have any named characters yet.
I was wondering if it was the same guy that Charlotte saw on the metro in the first episode.
Oh, yeah. And now I know who you're talking. I remember him.
Yeah.
No, I didn't
just
see.
kept staring at him.
Interesting.
Yeah. In any case, maybe we'll see that coming up. So was interesting when Kennedy and the other outsiders, they confront Juliet when she goes to meet them. They're angry at her. They're mad. Why are you telling lies? They're asking her, like, why are you lying? The outside is good. We saw it on the same screen as you did. And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I think only then do they realize, I think, that she's actually not faking the amnesia, that she's really got it. And then they show her the helmets, which I think is interesting that they had the helmets.
Well, that's why they went into IT. So it's interesting that the helmets are being held in IT, but that was the whole purpose of them breaking into IT.
Yep.
But that
the IT as in real life, the IT is the locus of evil. I love our IT guys. No. Just kidding. That was interesting. They broke in there to steal the helmet in order to prove, like, it has the 18 in it instead of the 17 in it. So that shows that there's another silo.
Yeah.
We learned that Charlotte's plane on the mission in Iran wasn't going at a target in Iran, but something else in Turkmenistan. And we learned that they put 80s era comms, communication technology, in the planes so they couldn't be hacked. And that made me ask, by the AI?
Well, I thought that was a different mission they were talking about. I thought the mission where her plane went down was like they were flying the new planes, but because it did seem to have kind of more advanced technology. But I thought they were talking about another mission in the past where they ripped out all the new stuff and basically put them in more analog.
I got it the other way. They had the new planes, but they had the comms technology from the old Tomcats, the old F-14s.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. I thought it was. I thought they said something, a different mission, but
no, they said they weren't armed with the nukes. They were armed with bunker busters.
Yeah,
that they were going after. So clearly, they're going after something buried deep. I don't know, like a silo. That has something that they're trying to kill that could hack the planes if they weren't. Whether it was this mission or a different mission, but they're trying to go after something that could hack the planes, which is a very Battlestar Galactica sort of thing, right? They're not networked because of the Cylons, that sort of thing. So I was wondering if maybe a malevolent AI is at work here, like the algorithm.
Like, you mean they're already aware of a malevolent AI, and so that's why they are using these older planes, the technology from the older planes?
Makes me wonder if that's what's really going on. Is the AI is... because we get this, the Helen says maybe this dirty bomb was a false flag. Maybe it wasn't really Iran. Maybe it's someone trying to engineer a situation. I keep looking at you, Jeff, because you're a very good poker face. Because I know you've read the books, so you have a very good poker face. So thank you for not revealing. But
well, and they say too. Helen says in this episode, was there really even a dirty bomb? Like, because we've not seen any
evidence of it.
For Fallout, like for the actual work, like we don't know. Everyone wears the radiation badges, or at least they did at the end of season 2. But everyone's like, oh yeah, it happened, but we haven't seen the damage. We haven't seen anybody in hospital dying from the dirty bomb.
It makes you wonder if their memories have been replaced.
Yeah, it's
interesting
true.
question.
So I think it's interesting that they haven't. And I think it could be just that it's a deliberate choice of not showing us so that we're guessing right now on what's going on. Because honestly, I don't really remember the specifics of that part of the book, if there was actually, if it was a false flag or not. So yeah, but I think it's interesting that they haven't revealed that one way or the other.
So when they go in to get, when Camille sends the guys in to go extract Juliet from among the outsiders, there's a whole Juliet tries to say, oh, well, I'm sorry, I was trying to do this on my own, and I know I made a mistake. And they made this. She kind of trying to cover her tracks. And one of the ways that they found her was one of the young women who idolizes her revealed she saw where she went. She followed her, but the cost of revealing the information was she wanted to meet Juliet, and Juliet doesn't like this idea. So she tries to dissuade this young woman who calls herself, they call themselves Juliet now, like these young women after her. And she tries to dissuade her, and she says, but she won't listen because Juliet saved us all from killing ourselves. And you basically came back from the dead to stop our death, which again is a very Christological language.
Yeah.
It's, we are Christians. We name ourselves after Christ because he came back from the dead to save us from our death. That sounds a very intentional writing in there. You can see why there's something in our human nature that looks for savior among us. And this young woman idolizes Juliet because she is a savior. She's a hero.
And she is.
That was interesting.
I mean, she's not, that young woman isn't wrong.
She's not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw last episode people were trading relics of Juliet, like
exactly.
like we have relics of saints now. So
yeah, just don't buy them off of eBay or Etsy. That's not right. You don't buy relics.
No, it's not. Yeah.
And then, as I mentioned in the recap, the very last scene is them hauling those barrels up the steps. That just looks. Man, I just look at the silo, like the logistics, and go, "Oh, I'm glad I don't live there." Hauling things up steps.
About the messengers that are just like they just run up and down and up and down and up and down, and yeah.
You get your steps in there, that's for sure. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And it's I was looking at when they were hauling those barrels up. That was the most. It had to be the most inefficient way of doing it. Like they didn't even have wheels on it. They're dragging it on like a sled.
On sleds, yeah.
Well, but it's on stairs though. They don't really have ramps going up. So
that's true. But even wheels would like not make the kind of grating noise that the sled makes.
Yeah, but you'd have if you haul something upstairs on wheels, like on a dolly, you have to go like one at a time.
It bumps.
And
that's true. Yeah.
So yeah,
if you've ever moved a big appliance upstairs, what they have are dollies with tracks or the kind of like
treads
belts. Yeah, they're kind of treads, and they don't even have that though. That's something I would have expected is something like a long tread. They're kept inefficient. Like like any type of innovation that would make life easier is kept from them. That doesn't serve the greater purpose of whatever the purpose of the pact is. If it doesn't serve that, they're not allowed it. Like the elevators and email and like only certain people have access to instant communications. They don't have telephones. They don't have video cameras as far as they know. That's all new to them.
Well, it's all part of the stratification of the silo. Like because the revolution always comes from mechanical and always comes from the down deepers. So they want them to have to come up a long way. The up toppers or the upper class. So they don't want the down deepers to be able to like get up there. They want to make it take a long time to get to the top, and so they're tired.
Yeah. But you want to know? It's something interesting. They say the revolution always starts by the down deepers.
It's mechanical.
In mechanical. You would think someone would figure out maybe it's because of the conditions in which they're living, and that's why it always happens there. Like,
well, I think it's
AI
more
hasn't figured that out.
Well, I think it's more the mechanical figures out something's going on, or they find because
they're in the deep bowels of it.
They find the giant digging machine that they find in was it season 1 or 2 where they find
season 1,
it was Juliet's boyfriend, I think, or whatever.
Yeah,
the one who had the hard drive in the first place.
He finds. So I think it's that mechanical finds things, and they know like all the people in mechanical are very smart, and they learn. Something's going on.
They're problem solvers. They have to be problem solvers.
And they're kept from solving problems.
Yeah.
And I think that is what grates on people is, I found a new way of doing things. It's better. Yeah. It's not allowed.
Yeah.
Why isn't it allowed?
Yeah.
You're just making our lives harder.
Yeah.
And that I think I think it's one of the reasons why it comes from below like that.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts, notes on this episode, Jeff?
So the one thing I mentioned earlier that in which I guess maybe it was a different thought is if you go back to episode 1, when Camille's doing the breathing exercises with Juliet, it's the same ones that Charlie is doing with the doctor. So that's another kind of legacy of whatever of the before times. So
interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Which I want to say in the book, they did I don't think the doctor was really a character. I think the whole memory suppression thing was, but I think it was just kind of there. Like they didn't really develop a backstory for it. So that's one of the interesting things that they can do in a show like this is you can build that out and cover, really get into more of the backstory of things like that. But yeah, that was something I noticed, that the breathing was the same that Camille was doing with Juliet.
Interesting.
Yeah. Good point.
How about you, Alex? Any other notes on this one?
I just wanted to say, I wrote that Silo 18, that's the one they're in, right? Silo 18 is cracking. And I would say the reason why is because, Kat, who has kind of so this is the Sheriff Paul Billings' wife. She was the one who got her wrist injured. I don't know if it was broken, injured when the rebels went in and got the helmet from IT. Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, so if you have someone who is a little bit up at the top, she's a mother with a child, in terms of Silo standards, she has the life and she has the personality of someone that you want in the Silo, and yet she is now rebelling. That's a bad sign from the algorithm's perspective, I think, that somebody like that is pushing back.
The spouse of one of the Silo's leaders is an up-topper.
Yeah, and if she's...
That's a bad sign.
Yeah, and if she's pushing back, then you can be sure that there are people on every level who are questioning things now, which is probably why they're bringing up the big drums of... You'd think, considering the urge, maybe it's a good thing for the rebels' perspective that it's taken such a long time to get that stuff up the stairs. But you would think, again, there's certain weaknesses that this algorithm has because you'd want that to get to wherever it needs to be very quickly and very quietly. But it's not. Right. It's like making all this noise and it's taking forever.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're hiding. They're hiding anything that it's like, because your average Silo person, you're just going to say, oh, it's a vitamin supplement, and they're probably fed all kinds of supplements and things dispersed into the water supply or air supply. So I think
but if you've got people who are discontented, they're not going to accept that.
Yeah,
they're going to question that.
I think that's probably what's going to happen is it's going to get intercepted. But that's the thing, is the algorithm preparing for another reset? Is that what it's trying to get ready for? Because I mean, apparently if the drums have, we're assuming it's the memory suppressing drugs. How does that even work though? Because once you've suppressed the memories,
maybe not everybody takes it.
Right.
I would think not everybody's taking it because, going back to the before time, the doctor is telling Daniel, you can put her memories into her head.
Right.
You can make her memories for her. So I would think
Daniel asks, can you embed a lie?
Yes, he does. Yeah. And I guess the answer is yes.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Time. I'm going to go watch episode 3.
I know, me too. I'm going to watch it tonight.
I was telling Jeff, I try to avoid watching the other episodes until we've talked about it, so I don't make them up in my head. But man, I'm tempted to go as soon as we're done.
Yeah, well, that's what I get to do because it's evening here for me, so I can go and get everything settled and sit down and watch episode 3.
Nice. All right. So let's wrap it up there so that you can go do that. We'd like to take a moment first to thank our patrons and make it possible for us to create The Secrets of Television, including Brian T., Ron T., Samantha K., Todd B., and Richard N. Their generous donations at GiveStarQuest.com make it possible for us to continue The Secrets of Television and all the shows at StarQuest, and you can join them by visiting GiveStarQuest.com. And that's it from us this time. We'd love to know what you thought of Silo's Season 3 episode, It's All Good. You can let us know by commenting on the show at sqpn.com/TV. Send an email to tv@sqpn.com. Visit the StarQuest Discord community at sqpn.com/Discord. And until next time, Alix Murray, thank you for joining me and sharing the secrets of television.
Thanks. I enjoyed it.
Jeff Haecker, thank you as well.
Thanks, Dom.
And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Television on StarQuest. Here's another show on the StarQuest network you're sure to enjoy. The Secrets of Technology. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/technology.